Okay, so what I'm going to do now is go in and edit one of the lofts, okay? But what I'm going to do before that, actually, is draw another sketch. So I'm going to roll back this drawing, hopefully, by dragging up to there. So I'm everything above the fillets and the lofts. And I'm going to add in a third loft into the back and try and incorporate it in a third sketch and try and incorporate it into that loft there. So I just roll back by dragging the bottom up to this point so I can see everything up to this rollback bar. So I'm going to add a new plane and I'm going to reference the front plane and I'm going to switch the direction by clicking on the arrow, and let's just view it from the right. Check that I've got this right. So it's created that plane there. Well, I want that distance there to be 42.5 because I set an overall target dimension by creating that construction line as 85. Press green tick and you can see there that's created a new plane, probably easier to see in isometric view. Now in my last loft at the back, if I click on that back plane that's just been created, click on sketch, I can view it from the front. Again, I'm going to create one more rectangle. Let's just get this centered. So I'm happy with around about 70 millimeters. Actually, let's make it a little bit smaller. Let's make it 65. 65, so to center it, 32.5. That's now centered it, and I'm happy with it getting gradually bigger, but let's just check on that dimension. So let's set that to 22. Actually, no, I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. Let's set it to 30 and green tick. Okay, so now I've got those three sketches and everything appears before that loft there. So if I put it back to isometric, and now I'm going to roll down to this loft, but you can see that it doesn't include this. So what I've got to do is go back in and edit the loft, go back to the dialog box that appears, and it'll allow me to select the sketch that I've just made. So that now creates a loft in between all 3 points, or all 3 sketches. Now to make this look a little bit more like a mouse, let's see what these 2 fillets do. If I scroll it down, it's retained that fillet at the front, it's retained that fillet at the back, but to make it a little bit more comfy, I think that'll be quite jarring at the back there. So let's add a fillet onto there. So fillet on that top edge, hover over it until it selects. Now fillets are a little bit tricky sometimes. If I go with a dimension that's too large, sometimes it won't resolve, but I'm quite happy with how that appears there. If I press green tick, that's the basis of a mouse. Now if I want to go back and edit any of these sketches, so if I wanted the back end to rise up a little bit more, let's see if I can do that by editing. Go back and view it from the front. And let's increase that dimension. Let's just see what it looks like at 45. Green tick, wait for it to resolve. I'll go back to isometric. Okay, so I'm quite happy with the appearance of that mouse. Now, what might detract from the design so far is all of these lines that show where the curves are in place. I can actually get rid of those lines by clicking where you normally go to click on the isometric box and click on shaded without edges. So that gives a little bit more of a rendered